This is a car that has all the best feel of a 1960s car. The airiness, the lightness, the openness, with the performance of the 1980s. And this car is a great performer.
You're watching this video, so the chances are great that you enjoy what we create here at the Audrain. And if you do, why not take the next step and subscribe to this channel? You might also consider a membership in the Audrain Automobile Museum. We mount 4 new exhibitions each year featuring cars from the Audrain collections and loans from some of the leading collectors and institutions around the world. Click here to find out more.
When a car becomes a legend, it can be a tricky thing because one person's legend is another person's overhype. And the car I'm driving today is certainly an automotive legend. It's a 1988 BMW M5. This model is the BMW development named the E28, and among BMW enthusiasts, it is legendary for its design, the engine, suspension, everything about it. And I had the great pleasure of driving this car recently on a rally for 4 days. And I had driven it before, but I really came to appreciate the very specific qualities that make this E28 M5 such a special car. Now, I also have to confess before you all that I am a sedan guy. I love sedans. I've got a 1953 Jaguar Mark 7, and I've got a 2017 Alfa Romeo Giulia TI. I've had lots of sedans, and I think especially in the case of performance cars, oftentimes the sedan is actually a more satisfying drive than a two-door coupe or a roadster, because of the weight distribution in a sedan tends to be, with well-designed cars, more evenly distributed. I have to also say that as a person who is an Alfa Romeo aficionado, that I have always slightly resented BMW. I love BMW cars, make no mistake about it. But I guess I should be less resentful of BMW than disappointed with Alfa Romeo and what they did not do. Most people think that BMW invented the sports sedan, and that is because they have built, since the 1960s, very capable, comfortable, spacious sedans, starting with small ones like the 1600, which became the 2002, through the E12 series sedans, which most Americans knew as the Bavaria, 2500, 2800, and ultimately 3.0 in Europe and around the rest of the world. And at the time, Alfa Romeo was making sedans and busily not selling them to most people. By 1988, BMW had convinced the world that indeed it had invented the sports sedan, and their absolutely unforgettable tagline, the ultimate driving machine, had been proven through actual experience of drivers. A tagline is no good being clever if it's not credible. And the credibility came in spades. I love this car. I'll just put that right out there. And the reason why I love this car is because I like performance, but I also like the connection and lightness that we used to find in cars. The E28 is more than just the development of the E12, but it has a lot of the qualities of the E12. And the E12 is a great chassis, wanting and deserving more power. And BMW did a very small run of performance cars on the E12 platform, the 535i. which was the precursor to this car, the M5, the first of the M cars in the 5 Series. And they got it absolutely right. This is a car that feels, the E12 was developed in the 1960s. This is a car that has all the best feel of a 1960s car, the airiness, the lightness, the openness, with the performance of the 1980s. And this car is a great performer. Coming back to my comparison with Alfa Romeo, the Alfa Romeo Milano Verde, the performance model in 1988, put out 183 horsepower. This car puts out 256. There's no contest. One of the things that is so incredibly satisfying about the M5 is the fact that it does its business in a completely unhurried way. Again, it's a sedan, so it doesn't have to scream its power, but this is a car that is absolutely effortless at 100 miles per hour with power to spare. This is a real Autobahn left lane cruiser, and the fact that it is very Q-ship in its approach. It's a fairly, I won't say ordinary looking, but certainly unobtrusive black sedan. All the North American cars happen to be in this combination, black with a natural leather interior. And you just think, it's a quiet luxury car. But then it's got a lot hidden. You press the go pedal, you get instant response. It is a car that provides amazing enjoyment with perfect comfort. I mean, what more could you want? You know, there are lots of performance cars that deliver great numbers and can give you a thrill on the road. But when you can get that same thrill in a very comfortable sports seat, in an airy sedan with great visibility all around, with a wonderful suspension, responsive brakes, you can't help but wonder why everyone doesn't do this. And the modern BMWs are very, very capable cars, but like most new cars, they feel a lot heavier by necessity. A lot of it is the safety equipment that's required, and the fact that horsepower is so readily available, weight is not really a concern with modern manufacturers and engineers. If the car's a bit too heavy, just add a little more power. But this is a car that feels so well balanced. It's just an absolute delight to drive. And I have another BMW connection with the E12. My brother Art, my oldest brother, who in so many ways inspired my automotive enthusiasm and passion, had a 1972 Bavaria. It was this beautiful light blue, and I thought it was the coolest car I had ever seen in my life. And that certainly inspired my love for BMWs, and also my love for the sedan that goes. Given a choice of a really sexy convertible with no luggage space, and a sedan like this with a great trunk, a roomy interior, and all this power behind my foot, my choice is clear. This is, for me, an ultimate driving machine.